Okay, good evening. My name is Melissa Ospina, and I'm the one in charge to lead you into the final exam for English conversation course, where you are gonna be able to present an English speaking exam based on the dynamic from IELTS. Okay, so you know that the IELTS is divided into three parts, and I'm gonna start with the first one that is asking you a personal information. So let's go. And my first question for you is, well, let's talk about family and friends. So can you tell me about your family, please?
Okay, my extended family or my wife and my children.
Whatever you prefer. Talk about your
Oh,
family.
okay, because my family is a big family. My mother, I have 8 more members as brothers and sisters. Um, they all live in different cities. And the younger one, um, of course, from time to time, we have the chance to meet or get together and share. But because of the distance, right now it's kind of difficult. But my wife and I have 2 children, one girl and a boy. The older one have almost 18 years old, and the younger one 10 years old. Well, my wife
Okay.
is
Okay,
okay.
okay. Go ahead, go ahead. Continue.
Okay. My wife is working as a psychologist. Uh, I work in a non-government organization and I study too. Sometimes I have the chance to work as a teacher in teaching English and Italian, but that's from time to time.
Okay, that's really cool. Your family sounds really interesting. So let's move into the second part of this exam, where I'm gonna show you a card, and you will have 1 minute, you and yourself, to think, to read, and to take notes. And when that minute finish, I'm gonna let you know, and you will have 2 minutes to talk about that. Okay? So
Okay.
this is the card for you. I'm gonna share my screen. Give me a second. Go ahead with this. Don't forget to answer all the questions. And your minute start now.
Okay.
No, no, it's not over. Start.
Okay.
You have 1 minute. I will let you know when the minute is over.
Okay.
Okay, time's up. 2 minutes to talk about that. One, two, three, go.
Okay. Well, regarding the newspapers, magazines, uh, I almost try to read news related with global context, more or less, because now we live in a global community, the big house, as we call it, and it's important to know what is happening around, beyond our borders. For example, what is happening in Venezuela, United States. Uh, that's as countries that we are very close for different situations, sometimes for economic relationships. sometimes for political situations, so it's important to know what is happening in those countries. That is regarding the news. The part of the news that I love most are political because we depend a lot on decisions of countries like United States, uh, Venezuela, and for that reason, I'm more interested in politics. When, when I read it, every time I had the chance, every single day I spare at least 20 minutes for watching a video or Google some important news on internet. Uh, because of the pandemic, it's impossible to leave the house. So the only chance I have is to the internet. And that's the situation I have now. Uh, I just enjoy reading because when you're reading, you construct new ideas, new opinions, and you are aware of what's happening. In my case, particularly, I read English news because that helped me a lot to improve my English. And that is the situation I have now because of my career. But that's not all. I read about family situations. You know, in this world, we have to learn how to deal with members of our families. Uh, about children, the best way to raise them. So sometimes I read psychologist information, and that helped me a lot in the relationships with my children.
Okay, perfect. You took 2 minutes for a night, but that was awesome. Thank you, Rodrigo. Now let's move on to the third part, which I'm gonna ask you a specific question based on the topic that you were talking before. And my question for you was, you mentioned something, and it's that you read the news in the Google or internet, right? So taking into account that. And with the popularity of the internet, do you think that the newspaper and the magazine by physics will disappear?
I don't think so. I think so because the paper, you know, had the information very specific because you had to go straight to the point. In the internet, you had the chance to review multiple magazines or news at the same time. But when you read a physical paper, you tend to join the point of view of a particular journalist. You tend to read it and follow it, even if he or she has uh, an account in Twitter or whatever of these applications, tools. For me, it's important from time to time, almost weekends, Saturdays, go to the kiosk and pick a news and read it and go back home. That made me feel, provide me more pleasure that sit down and Google plenty of online magazines. I
Okay,
prefer always physical.
perfect. That sounds really good. Well, Rodrigo, that was everything for today's interview. My feedback for you is that you did an excellent job. I mean, I was able to understand everything that you said. The way you speak, the fluency was really good, and I understood everything. You have a huge range of vocabulary and the correct use of grammar. So keep practicing, and thank you for coming on time. Okay, good job.